What happens when you drop 6 teenagers on a deserted island with no rules? The famous book, Lord of the Flies, predicts savagery, chaos, and even murder. But what if I told you that in 1965, this exact experiment happened in real life, and the result was the complete opposite? This is the incredible true story of the Tongan castaways, and it proves that reality is far more hopeful and far more shocking than fiction. It all started, as many questionable adventures do, with boredom. 6 boys from Tonga, Sione, Stephen, Kolo, David, Luke, and Mano, were students at a strict Catholic boarding school. One night, they decided to borrow a small fishing boat and sail to Fiji, hundreds of miles away. They were hopelessly unprepared. Their supplies? A bunch of bananas, a few coconuts, and a small gas burner. Not exactly a survival kit. On the very first night, a massive storm hit. The boys woke up to the terrifying sound of their sail ripping to shreds and their rudder snapping clean off. For 8 agonizing days, they were adrift on the vast Pacific Ocean. They had no food, no water, no map. They were just teenagers, lost at sea, convinced they were going to die. Then, on the 8th day, they spotted a miracle. A tiny rocky island on the horizon. This was Ata, a volcanic island that was far from a tropical paradise. It had been inhabited decades before, but was now completely deserted. For the first few days, despair set in. They were starving, surviving by drinking the blood of seabirds and eating raw eggs. It was grim. But then, something incredible happened. They made a choice. They decided not to just survive, but to truly live. This is where their story transforms. They didn't panic. They organized. They split into 2 teams of 3, setting up a rigid roster for gardening, cooking, and guard duty. And they established their most important rule: the fire. Using 2 sticks, it took them weeks of trying, but they finally managed to start a fire. They made a solemn vow. They would never, ever let it go out. For 15 months, 24 hours a day, someone was on fire duty. That small flame became their symbol of hope. They built a small commune. They discovered wild taro, bananas, and even chickens left behind from the island's previous inhabitants. They constructed a crude gym out of driftwood, a badminton court, and even a small chicken pen. They understood the importance of keeping their minds and bodies active. And what about conflict? They made a rule for arguments. If 2 boys fought, they were forced to walk to opposite ends of the island to cool off. They weren't allowed to return until they had worked it out and forgiven each other. Their teamwork faced the ultimate test when one of the boys, Stephen, slipped while exploring and broke his leg. There was no hospital, no doctor. Did they abandon him? No. The other boys fashioned a splint from sticks and leaves, setting his leg themselves. They took over his chores and brought him his share of food and water every single day until he was healed. After 15 long months, an Australian sailor named Peter Warner was passing by Ata. He was about to sail on when he noticed something impossible through his binoculars. He saw smoke, and then he saw them. 6 long-haired, naked boys who leaped into the water and started swimming frantically toward his boat. Peter was suspicious, thinking they might be dangerous fugitives. To prove who they were, the eldest, Sione, swam to the boat and calmly said, "We are 6 castaways. We estimate we have been here for 15 months." Peter couldn't believe his eyes. He radioed back to Tonga, where the response was pure shock. The entire island had held funerals for the boys a year earlier. They had all been presumed dead. When the world heard their story, it was stunned. The author of Lord of the Flies wrote a story about what he feared humanity was capable of at its worst. But the Tongan boys showed the world what humans can be at their very best. They didn't just survive, they thrived through friendship, ingenuity, and cooperation. The real story of Ata Island isn't a story of a beast, but a story of brotherhood. What's the most inspiring survival story you've ever heard? Let us know in the comments below. And for more true stories that are stranger than fiction, make sure to like this video and hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.